Hey folks, it's Maxie here. Welcome to another TEW2020 video. You join us for the final event of 2023 with AEW, and that is our pay-per-view Winter is Coming. A lot of structural changes are going to be happening within my save, so a good few things will change going forward. Nothing in terms of like videos or anything, just moving to a brand split basically because I have so many workers. But looking forward to this one. Shot off the back of 24-hour extravaganza, so I've had a couple of shows since then, maybe only 2 Rampages and 2 Dynamites, but happy with the card we put together. We've rotated a bit, which is good. And thank you very much for the feedback on the video where I asked just about my voice and my accent. As I say, I try to make this channel as accessible for as many people as possible. It's sometimes baffling and mind-blowing that obviously people in like the other side of the world sometimes watch these, so when you have a very common Scottish accent, which isn't like Drew's, it can be a little bit tricky for people to understand, and I do appreciate that people maybe struggle a little bit with Nikki ESH. I know she has Americanised her accent a bit, but mine's is a wee bit worse than hers, because I am really in the centre belt. But anyway, let's move on. We're here for TEW, we're here for the AEW save. So, money's not an option anymore, that's not an issue, sorry, so we don't need to worry about that. So, every show now will have a legendary band, an A-list celebrity, and a special set. Aims are always to try and aim for a 100 rated match, 100 rated show, and what was that thing I was going to aim for? I think it's just getting the achievements on to fun along the way. That's always it. But as I say, we'll go with that. But I do want to start moving towards some more storyline driven stuff going forward. As always, when feuds, I'll explain that as the matches happen. So third winter is coming. The first one we done in 2021 with a sold out 25,000 at the Tropicana Field. Matches in there include CM Punk versus Daniel Garcia, Miro versus Roderick Strong. That also makes me think, I've not done too much with Daniel Garcia in 2 years. With Britt Baker defeat Riho, and the main event was for the AEW World Championship, just in 82, between Kenny Omega and Bryan. Danielson, Cody Rhodes and Darby Allin defeating Malachi Black and Matt Silva. At time recording, he's left AEW, he hasn't joined WWE as of yet. That might have happened by the time this goes live, but yeah, I'm just going to keep booking him as I normally would. I might try and turn what's happened into like a shoot in here, so it's kind of like, or a work in here, sorry, where he's like, oh, I'm going to leave, I'm going to take this company down with me. I don't know, I'll see. I need to see how I go with the brand split first before I can have ideas. But obviously we're going to bring a lot more shows in because I need pay-per-view matches and then I need AEW Plus specials as well. You can see that the big improvement as we went to the Heinz Field in 2022 for Winter is Coming, just under 68,000 for a 92 rated show. Stellar match up there between Andrade El Idolo and Bryan Danielson for the AEW TNT Championship, and your main event saw the Hangman, Adam Page, defeat Jon Moxley. I like what we've got in the card today, I hope you enjoy it. So get ready, tuck yourselves in. This is the 2023 edition of Winter is Coming. So, we're live from Daly's Place in front of 63,567 people. You wonder? Hell, that's a lot of people in a small area. I just had obviously that much money lying over that I just expanded Daly's Place to as big as it could be. So effectively calling the stadium, whichever it may be next to it, as Daly's Place. I'm pretty much assuming that's I hope it's the NFL stadium they use. If not, whoops, I'm not very educated on NFL, so apologies if that's not the case. But I just made like Daly's Place massive because it is the home of AEW. Usually we go for the 100 rated segment here, but I wanted to tie in, as I said previously, a little bit of storyline element to what we're going to be booking. So we start the show with the owner, the user character of the Save Tony Khan in the ring, alongside the matchmakers of AEW, Mick Foley and Daria Berenato. Of course, she does compete as an active superstar as well. Formerly Inner Circle member and AEW World Champion, the recently retired Chris Jericho is in the ring. Tony Khan says it was great to have an excellent send-off for Chris Jericho, but we feel like we can still utilise them within AEW, and that is why, starting in January, we will have the AEW brand split. I haven't decided who, but Mick Foley and Daria will take one show, either Dynamite or Rampage. Chris Jericho will take the other, alongside someone else. Who that may be, I don't know. I might sign someone, I might use someone within developmental on the roster that's not getting utilised. Watch this space on that one, because I don't know. It gives me two ideas of what I'm going to do as well, depending on how big the roster brand split is. Dynamite might go back to 2 hours, and I can have 2 2-hour shows, or flip that, and Rampage could go 3 hours and I have 2 3-hour shows, but then everyone should get utilised a lot better as we continue. Fair enough, it's going to have a storyline in that pack, but it is still going to be mostly match driven. That's the plan. But I just would like a little bit more backstory to why things are happening, rather than my excuse being I'm building them up and I'm aiming for a 100 rated matchup in the future. So 61 for that. We started with the 0x Championship on the line, and after Garza Jr picked up a win on Dynamite last week, he has challenged Ricochet for the belt this time. Good matchup. Ricochet picks up the win in 17:33 with a 6:30 splash, giving him the 9th defence of the AEW 0x Championship. An 81, a very stellar performance from these two as expected. Still don't like how it doesn't allow me to have a babyface manager for a heel wrestler. It does happen, and as I say, it's intending to get Kaneko Anzai over. But good matchup there in the opening bout. We then had an open challenge. Pac is out and says he wants to put the IWGP United States Championship on the line. Who comes out to accept it? Adam Cole, baby. He's back, of course, as we know from the 24-hour extravaganza, and he would like to add a championship. Gives us our highest promo of the night of an 87. Let's see how that match goes down. A very early surprise. Only a 78 though. A wee bit worried about that, but let's have a look to see why that happened. It was a bout that had superb wrestling and great heat. Adam Cole picks up the win over Pac in 23:57 with a flying crossbody, meaning your new IWGP United States Heavyweight Champion is Adam Cole. So the last 3 title changes, maybe even 4, have been caused by ourselves, of course, having Kyle O'Reilly win it from Winato, and then Pac win it from Kyle, and then Adam Cole winning it from Pac. My aim is a lot of our wrestlers, when we get to way in the future, when they retire, if we get that far, I want them to have a lot of accolades, because I like a long title run at times. So they may not all win the big one. I don't even think I've had a multiple world champion yet in the save, so good to get that belt on Adam Cole. He can have some bangers going forward. So look at the dirt sheet. Yeah, no negatives. Could be poor from Chavo. Could just be where it is in the card. Could be a lot of things. It could just be random why it's decided as 78. But yeah, I was kind of hoping that would overachieve and I could have pushed that as a higher match in the future. Because obviously I don't know if the crowd's turned on or off in terms of how hot or how cool they are. I decided to give some showcase opponents for the Young Bucks. In this case, we gave them Top Flight, Private Party and the Rascals. And we had a fatal 4-way tag match for the belts. Good wrestling, decent reaction from the crowd. The Young Bucks defeat Top Flight, Private Party and the Rascals in 13:49 with Nick Jackson pinning Zachary Wentz with a Meltzer driver. 5th defence, just showcasing how good a tag division we've got with that matchup. But here we have a stacked tag division, because after the matchup we have the Hardys down for a brawl, we have FTR down for a brawl, and we have Santana and Ortiz. So an 8-man brawl as these 4 incredible tag teams all could stake a claim for the best in the world have a massive brawl. 78. Where will they end up before the brand split? Will they all end up in the same brand? I'm thinking of doing the old WWE way from the initial brand split, where my champions will have free reign to be on both shows. Moving up, we had decent matchup. Demi Bennett with the win over Mercdes Varnado in 12:30 with a Riptide. 73. I'm sad to say there's not much of a backstory here. Mercedes was happy to put Demi over. I have not utilised her fantastically so far. so this was an opportunity to get her closer to that upper kind of mid-card in the women's division. So props for Mercedes for putting her over, and we might work something out of it going forward. Next up, another promised match, but this one's been building for a while. The friction between Team Taz with Kevin Steen and Sami Zayn, with an extra E in his name, led to Kevin Steen and Ricky Starks, and it was a good matchup that saw Ricky Starks, absolute Ricky Starks, pick up the win in 14:06 with a Buster Keating on K Steen. So great that Kevin Steen's put a lot of people over. That's why a lot of the WWE guys haven't really progressed far up the card, because they've been happy to do promises and put my younger talent over. What my younger talent needs to try and do is continue to develop their skill set, and most importantly, for the long term, get that psychology stat up. That's the big one. That's what's held Wardlow back for me, because his psychology's in the mid-50s. So I'm trying to put him with as many psychological workers as I can. At 78, this revolution is being televised. And then after it, a bit of bragging from the TNT champion Powerhouse Hobbs, absolute Ricky Starks and Calvin Tankman, and they just said Team Taz has built assassins, and look at how we are all thriving. Simple, effective, 79. We then moved on to another matchup, and that was a good matchup. Hook with the win over Prince Devitt in 6:35 by submission, a 76. The reason this only took 6 minutes is for two reasons. Hook has an injury, but Devitt was happy to put him over, so I thought storytelling matchup, a limited matchup, and you hope that Hook can learn some psychology from Devitt. But crazy to think we're already at a stage we have matches like this, and a 76 Hook bringing a 70 performance whilst being injured. Could we accelerate Hook to the main event one day? We've got an experiment that might give us an idea if that will work later on the show. And after it, Heyman says this is a prodigy, this is the future of AEW, this is Hook. Simple, effective, 78. Really getting Hook over now, which is good. We had the blow-off match up here between Windham and 10. Windham turning on 10 as they challenge for the tag team belts after winning the Brodie Lee Memorial Cup, and Windham wins in 14:29 with a standing senton splash. A 74 here, a lack of selling, mostly from the Windham character here I'd assume, but I think I made it the Wild Brawl. It just shows that 10 is not quite ready to overcome the former leader of the Dark Order after Brodie, but Windham prevails, and after the matchup sends a message by putting 10 through a table, a proper vicious assault. This one's going to go a while, so I'm hoping eventually we can turn 10 into a megastar, or at least a star. But an 80, very happy with that. We then moved on to the match I mentioned a minute or two ago that was going to be a showcase idea. Jade doesn't have the most technical attributes, but because of her being a protege of QT Marshall, her psychology is at 75, so she may be a very good long-term player for us if we can develop the normal skill set. So she has had a few victories over, or upset victories if you will, over Io Shirai, especially in a tag match when she was tagging with, I believe, Charlotte to take on Io and Deonna Purrazzo. So she's beat Io before, but can she do it in the big stage? I'm somehow expecting this to go over an 80. I think Io can carry her, and the psychology might be high enough to make it over an 80. Let's find out, because a storm is coming. I'm nervous to hit this next segment. Oh, so close. Really happy with that though, all things considered. About the great heat and good wrestling, Io Shirai defeats Jade Cargill in 18:30 with a German suplex hold. It's her 15th defence of the AEW Women's title, so hopefully again to the title belt's prestige, and I think that can tell us that if she's got the right opponent, that Jade Cargill is going to be a big threat in this save, and that's good to see, giving us more options in the main event, especially when we go to two brands and probably exclusive events for those brands as well. I then had a match up between Eddie Kingston and Ace. Eddie Kingston's pissed that Ace and Christian Cage got involved with Shawn Michaels in that 6-man tag at the 24-hour extravaganza, and it was a superb matchup that saw Eddie pick up the win in 14:05 after using a foreign object. An 80 overall here, 83 Eddie, 79 Ace, and Ace seemed off his game. It's mad to see Eddie Kingston putting the younger talent over, but there you go, because the Edge is obviously 50. But it felt right in terms of the storyline, and as I say, like the guys we've brought in from WWE, I don't think they're going to last very long before they retire. So it's again just utilising Edge in the best way possible to elevate our stars. I then tried to go for the 100 segment because I was a bit worried that I haven't got it, so I don't think we're going to get the 100 rated show. But basically here it was CM Punk basically claiming to being the best in the world, surely in line for a title shot, and then Kenny Omega basically came out saying best in the world. I don't think so, pal. Basically, plans in motion to soon do CM Punk versus Kenny Omega, and that was a 93. Main event time for the AEW World Championship. Bryan Danielson challenges Sammy Guevara after the way the matches went at the 24-hour extravaganza. 89. See, that's what frustrates me there. 89 for them, yet a 93 and 94 because of their great chemistry. This is what, it might be a time limit thing, I'm not actually too sure. It could be randomisation. I really need to get back looking at the forums and read up on why we're not getting that 100. But still delighted with it, of course. And as I say, you hope here that Sammy working with Bryan can help improve his psychology skills, so then one day Sammy will carry these matches in the main event. But it gives him like real prestige to his title run, because he already bet Omega and Danielson, which is crazy. But an exceptional matchup, Sammy wins in 22:18 after also using a foreign object. Quite a heel heavy show, but that's where our youngsters are. And he makes the third defensive we previously mentioned. A 93 for Danielson, a 94 for Sammy Guevara. Both performances improved thanks to great chemistry. And we end the show with that. A 96 because of the boosts. Oh, okay, I'll get that elusive 100 one day, but I think we can see here the upper mid card and the future's in a good position. But it's basically, I see a lot of people on especially Reddit that are getting like constantly 80s and 90s, and it's trying to turn these scores here into those bright blue and possibly higher. But still, I think where the save was at the start to where we are now, the fact that we're disappointed with 96 shows a lot of things. But I think the brand split's going to be quite interesting. I will actually have 4 shows to book before I do it, because I'm going to have Dynamite, 2 Power Hours, Rampage, and then I'll probably do a small video just on like the wrestler of the year to let you see all the awards in the top 500, and then I'll take a wee kind of time to myself to get the brand split sorted and who's going where, but it probably won't delay any of the videos, so we'll be fine that way. But if we get through this one quite quickly, we'll have a wee look and see what has occurred. There we go. Roman Reigns has re-signed the contract with WWE because he's loyal to them. They couldn't poach them. That'd have been a nice attempt to kill WWE, but there we go. 63,000, absolute success, that's good to see. Top dollar. Let me just sign them and release them. Nah, that's fine. Just accept these, give them 75%. Because we have a stacked developmental, that's for sure. Right. AJ Francis, we knew about. Bear Bonson has left Beyond. Wardlow's contract's ending, so I need to obviously increase that. Believe it or not, I'm going to keep it to Handshake, despite the fact how much money he's making. Purely just so he can keep up his impact dates, because if he keeps up his impact dates, then hopefully he's going to have more psychology. It also will grow Impact as a company, which will then allow us to get people with more overness to go there developmental. Because we now have Impact and ROH, so I've got plenty of places to send people. Not as child companies, just they're happy to accept. Dragunov wants to come up from the development factory, so also the development factory. Good job I've got Water doing nothing, so I think you know who he's going to be moving with. I don't even know who he's tagging with right now, let's have a look. Probably Wayne Azaria. Probably Wayne Azaria. 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 Wayne Aza What will you look? Nope, not Wayne Azaria. Well, who could it be? Probably would it be easier just going to title history, because it'll tell you it's there. Anthony Agogo. Okay. Doesn't make sense, but okay. 1 million viewers on Winter is Coming, buy rate of 2.57. Really? The lack of big names hurt the attendance? Really? Danielson wrestling? Fair enough, right? To be fair, Kenny didn't wrestle, so if that could be a reason. I know he was on the show, but he didn't wrestle. CM Punk didn't wrestle. MJF didn't wrestle. Hangman didn't wrestle. But Sammy's in the high 80s. Bryan's in the high 80s. Adam Cole's just outside the high 80s. Well, guess MJF will need to work going forward. But that's one thing I'll keep an eye on for sure. But as I say, money's fine. Right, revenue, there you go. Revenue is down 1 million. And ticket sales down at, well, I've still got 2 shows to run. Look at broadcast revenue, it's just ridiculous now. Absolutely ridiculous. But a good spot. And that will keep us ticking. And our next show will be Beach Break. But as I say, we'll have a few videos in between then. I'll probably do a couple of things. So we'll have obviously the review of the top 500 of the Power 500 and all the awards. I'll maybe even do like a draft show after I've done the draft, just to let you know who's going to be in each show so you know what to expect. Beach Break might be combined, it might be one for Dynamite, one for Rampage. I don't know yet. Stay tuned. But as always, thank you very much for continuing with me on this journey. One day I'm going to get it, but it looks likely it's going to be 2024 before we get the 100 rated match. Cheers for watching, take it easy, happy TEWing, bye bye.